Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. Hot or cold, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
I know we was going to try to get a session today, man. I just got some things on my heart. Just thinking a couple things. I think forgiveness. I think effective communication. I think also moving beyond differences.
Okay. Forgiveness, communication, moving beyond differences.
Yeah, man. So there's some things I've been processing on, and some things that have taken place, that I'm processing on,
Right.
I think just touching on forgiveness first, man. I think forgiving is forgiving.
I like that.
I think when we can allow ourselves to forgive, I think we all have probably been hurt to the core at some point in our life with something. I mean, not just a regular old hurt,
Right.
but hurt to the core.
Yeah.
To the white meat.
Right. Yeah.
And then what allows us to move on is the ability to forgive. I'm not saying forget, but I am saying forgive. You had any experience on that, Doc?
I'm a seasoned veteran.
Season.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to figure out which story should I share. I mean, one thing you said that just really I'm hearing reverberate is forgiveness is forgiving, and I've heard similar thoughts, but I've never heard it the way I just heard it. That is forgiving, as opposed to what? As opposed to selling, as opposed to trading, as opposed to some kind of demand like a ransom for exchange. And so when you say it's forgiving, it's not made to be held until somebody earns it. When somebody gives you something, you think of it more from a standpoint of a gift.
Yeah.
Right. But we know, the phrase it talks about is really not for the offender, it's really for the one that's offended. And so in light of that, and then in light of, like you're saying, things that we withhold because we're not really trying to give it, we're trying to trade it. Well, I'll extend you recompense if you apologize, or if you do this quid pro quo. So it's really not even forgiving in our minds. We're holding it. And so another thing that you say is forgiving, like where you get forefront or foreground. Anything with for in the beginning, in its derivative, it means it's up front. God says, I foreknew you. So to forgive, I'm even, not only am I giving it and not holding it for a price, I'm giving it ahead of you earning it.
Yeah.
And if you ever do anything to pay it back or to make amends, that's not even the point. The point is I'm giving it on credit. And that takes a gracious heart. And I don't think, truly, as I'm thinking about it, I don't think it's in a desire or ability to do that without the love of Christ. So
it takes a special I think the word patience comes up.
Right.
I think it takes a special, like you said, you have to have a humbled and a pure heart.
Right.
I think you have to come from a place of grace, like you said.
Right.
You got to have some faith in there.
Right.
Because that's what you're leaning on.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, because you hurt me. I want to see you pay something, for this. You might not get back what you gave to me, but I just can't let you walk away scot-free.
Yeah. Get my lick back.
Yeah. There you go. Some takebacks.
Yeah.
So often you say the crime, the punishment has a fit the crime. So I wonder emotionally how often that's what we do before we forgive somebody.
Yeah.
So
I think forgiving is deep too and tough.
What makes it so tough? Let's unpack that.
I think it makes it tough when just how you explained. I think it's tough because it's rare. But it's tough because of what you explained. It takes a lot to forgive.
Right.
Like all of those, you have to look within. You have to be faith-based from it. You have to know that you're forgiving, like you said, without possibly receiving anything in return.
Right.
And so I think in that it makes it tough. But what we don't realize also is that we get so much in return because it allows us to let go. Man, just saying that just makes me feel lighter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like it allows us to let go of all of those things that we're holding on to that has hurt us.
Right.
But really what we get from it is we learn lessons from it. And it's blessings within those lessons that will allow us to move and grow more efficiently and effectively later.
Right.
Which makes us better. Hold on. So I'm gonna give you this in the Japanese culture. They have this thing called kinsekuroi.
Okay.
Right, and what it is it's pottery. Like so, when it's the mending of pottery. So what happens is when the pottery breaks or cracks, what they do is they lace it with gold or silver. And so, because it's been broken and because it goes through that process, after it's over, it's a lot more valuable. Than what it is.
Wow.
Before. And that's how forgiving is, I think. That's how it is in our life is. And we're more valuable for growing through those experiences.
Wow. Yeah, that's rich. Wow. I like that. I'm gonna hold on to that one. That one's mine. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You good for it. I don't expect nothing back from it either. You good for it.
That's good. I like that. That's like grandmama say, hey man, good meat make its own gravy.
Come on. Yeah, man. When I saw that, and I was at one of my former players cut hair. It's been a few years back, and he was in college in town. He was cutting my hair in the kitchen at their house, and his mom had that on the refrigerator. It was the word. It was the picture of the pottery and the definition. Man,
wow,
so good.
So I've really been thinking about recently. I was thinking about this parable really in the Bible, and it's very popular, perhaps, the woman with the issue of blood. And the text doesn't ever tell us her given name. But she is historically known by her problem. And so when I think about you saying forgiveness I'm reminded of some people that it's more difficult to forgive because our identity is tied to that thing. Who will I be if I forgive you of what you've done? And in the world now, 2023, where we may seek likes or follows or acceptance, really is what it is. It's a need to be validated. So my dad used to tell me that kids will strive for any kind of energy, any kind of attention, positive or negative. And so if they can't get positive affirmation, they'll accept negative.
Right.
But at least that negative says, I exist, I'm alive. And so when I hear about like what we're talking about, like forgiveness, I'm really kind of tying together a correlation between if I let you make it on that thing, that forever was the thing that I may be known for. The brother with the mean mug, the sister with the limp, the woman with the issue of blood. And so sometimes I'm convinced that people don't forgive because we don't understand that there's another identity attached to the other side of forgiveness. Like you said, the pottery, I'll be made better. Wait, you mean I can be gold laced? Hey, I'm looking for somebody to offend me because I can come back with that kind of value. And I think if we had a better picture of who we would become, it will become less difficult for us to let it go.
Yeah, all about perspective. How we view what we do will always affect how we do what we do.
Absolutely. Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's all about the perspective.
Right.
And then I think too, one thing that comes up for me as I hear you say that is ego. Another thing that comes up for me is understanding that it ain't about you.
Wow.
I mean, it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
I think when we can, go into any situation knowing that it's not about me, it's bigger than me, and knowing that if I do what I'm supposed to learn those lessons and forgive, then there's so many people around me that can benefit from that.
Yeah. Wow.
Starting with myself.
Wow. You're holding people up by not letting that thing go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, just reflect on one situation, one scenario that we were in where somebody hurt us. And if you just bring back those feelings, like just feeling that emotion right now is heavy.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it is so heavy.
Right.
Right. But the thing is, like, you don't have to carry that.
Right.
Like, you can let it go and move on, communicate effectively, learn what you're supposed to learn. Hopefully, if it's another person, hopefully y'all can have the communication and both of y'all learn.
Right.
And then you're both better because you've forgiven in a situation. You've had the great conversation, effective conversation, and you've moved on from it.
So what about the person that says, I can forgive you, but that doesn't mean that I have to deal with you anymore? So if you forgive them, but then how do you have effective communication with that individual that you really just decided, like you said, I can forgive but not forget. So now I'm not going to deal with you based upon this offense.
If I had the answer to that, Doc, I'd be a gazillionaire. Gazillion. That's not even a number.
Hey, it is now.
But I also think, though, the answer, the key to that is really in your forgiveness. You're not forgiving to forgive them. You're forgiving for yourself, which allow you to move on.
So I'm releasing me from this offense.
Yeah, like you can't control what other people do. And you can't control other people's actions.
All right.
But we can control ours.
Right.
And if you can say that, my actions were pure hearted,
right,
with pure intentions, in a godly fashion,
right, right.
Striving to do right, then at the end of the day, outside of that, I mean, that's all you can control,
Agreed, wholeheartedly. So how do you effectively communicate these revelations? Or is the communication that you're speaking of with the person that has offended you?
Could be both.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's good. I think it could be all of that, because there may not ever be a time when you can tell the person, "Hey, I forgive you,"
Right.
or "Hey, this hurt me."
Right.
You know, when you did this, this is how it made me feel.
Right.
You know, but I forgive you for that, because I don't want to hold on to. Like you may not ever get the chance to do that.
Wow.
So like when I heard you ask that, I thought about like the most difficult, like something that's generational.
Yeah. Right.
Like for example, like a father not being present,
Right.
because of those other things, and how it affects, down the road. The kid may not ever be able to say, the parent could have passed, or
Right. Yep.
or never have
Yep.
seen the
Right.
father. You know what I'm saying? And so like, man, if the kid holds on to that forever, then man, that's gonna hold you back from lots. But the beauty of it is if you do get to see the person, because then now you can have that conversation.
Right.
And then when you have the conversation, like, again, you got to know you can't control their actions, but you get it off your chest and your heart, how you feel about it. And then, you can agree, or you can agree to disagree.
Right. Right.
But either way, you're going to agree,
How so? I mean, either way, we're going to agree.
That's what I'm saying. You can agree on come together, or you can agree that we both going to disagree.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And so either way, it's out there.
Right.
Either way, from my end, I've strived to communicate,
right,
and show respect on how I felt about it.
Yeah, I think a lot about that. Just like you said, mostly now both my parents are deceased.
Yeah.
And I have a biological brother that lives here in Texas, and he's 7 years older. And there was such a grievous offense just immediately after my mother's passing. He defrauded me and my sister of our inheritance. And so whenever the word forgiveness comes up, he's one of the, I can't even say top five, he's one of the top three things, maybe often the top thing that comes to my mind.
Right.
And so I'm really just quiet as I'm processing this new information and doing the emotional inventory and seeing where I am. And did this conversation, or is this conversation moving the needle, or is it just sowing seed to later mature into something? But they're communicating effectively, because like you said, after they're gone, I know that life is temporal, but I'm almost like I would rather leave it unsaid, because I don't feel, in a sense, I guess, that he means enough to me to reopen that and even pay him the respect to say, you wounded me, because I have brothers like you that I'm closer to. And would I be this close to men that are not biologically mine had I not been offended by my brother who is my biological brother?
Deep, dog. And true. Man, I love how you unpack that too. Hurt to the core.
Yeah. Yeah, you just compounded the hurt of burying our mother.
Yeah, hurt to the core.
And then this was your focus, even in her latter days. This wasn't like something that you just shifted. No, you made strategic moves while she was still here, but not really, because she was so heavily medicated and sedated, and it's
and that right there, man, that is probably one of the toughest things.
Right.
Like I've been in those same shoes too. Similar, not quite, but kind of similar,
Right.
And like you said, you're already grieving of your heroes,
right?
And then you compound it by that,
right? Yeah. And in grieving for a hero, sometimes it's not just the loss of a parent, but this is an older brother, 7 years older. So at some phase in my young life, he was a hero to me.
Yeah.
So I'm grieving from a hero that's still breathing, because your position is dead to me now. You will always be connected biologically, but I don't know if we can ever resuscitate this fractured relationship. So,
you know what it does, though? I'm going to go to the other side of it. I think the blessing and the lesson is you learn the feeling that you don't want.
Right.
You learn the feeling that you don't want to give to somebody else.
Yes, sir.
It gives you a heightened sense of awareness.
Facts.
About the family dynamic.
Yes, sir.
Because you're going to face loved ones passing again.
Right.
You're going to face, all of those things that you've had to do. I'm going to just share this with you, man. In the last 12 years, I've had 4 of my starting 5 pass.
Wow. Wow.
So, and all within year and a half to 2.5 years apart, right? Yeah. So, I mean, grandfather, dad, grandmother, then mom.
Right.
And mom being most recent, about 3 years.
Right.
And so, as I, heard you talk about the situation, it made me reflect on, with the family dynamic as well.
Yeah.
And what you learn each time.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not gonna say that I'm a veteran at it,
right,
and dealing with it now.
Yeah.
But there are some things that I've learned along the way.
Yes, sir.
And as you were talking about your situation, it made me go back to things that were in my situation. And like I said, you learn what you don't want.
Right.
You learn how you don't want somebody else to feel.
Right. Yeah.
And just hearing you say that about Big Brother, it took me back to, because in a situation like that with my father, I was Big Brother.
Right. Wow. Okay.
And I had to take a stand on taking care of the little brother.
Right. Right.
And so, man, it just made me be grateful that the big man blessed me with the wherewithal to know that it ain't about me.
Right.
And to not strive to be greedy and to have the right intentions. And
right. Yes, sir.
And I think when we can do that in every situation, I think the big man sees fit to help us get through those situations.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't really prepared emotionally to have this conversation, but I'm glad that we're having it. I feel very introspective right now because I'm now having to process this information in real time.
Yeah,
yeah. The revolution will be televised. Yeah, man, it's heavy right now.
Yeah. I think too, man, forgiveness is so heavy. I think that's the word that I keep coming back to.
Yeah.
Because it's so much. Because like you said, like a lot of times when it's forgiveness, it's not just one thing.
Right.
It's a number of events that have happened.
Facts.
To lead to
Facts.
Then you finally just get to a point you're like, man, I got to do something different.
Absolutely.
Because the way I'm feeling, it's not allowing me to carry on and be effective at anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like I've got to do something different. And forgive so that I can move on from this. Like I don't know if it's gonna be resolved.
Right.
But I've got to do something to move on.
This is not working.
I cannot do this. And I think that's to me, and hearing your story, I'm thinking it's the same. That's why it's so heavy.
Yeah.
Because when you get to that place of where you got to do something about it, it's not just a one-time occurrence. It's not just a light thing.
Hmm. So it was forgiveness, it was effective communication, and I've been so lost in those two. I lost the third point you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So you're going to bring that one back.
Shoot, man, I lost to that with I think one thing that we hit on inside there was just the ego piece.
Right.
Oh yeah, the moving on.
Yeah.
How do you move on from the differences?
Right.
That was what it was. And really, that I know we've hit the forgiveness pretty hard.
Right.
But it don't have to be just from forgiveness. But I'm just saying, just differences in general. You know, nobody's gonna be not gonna always agree on things or see eye to eye on things.
Right.
But how do we move on? How do we learn to move on?
So the moving on part, I know you're saying it doesn't necessarily have to be about forgiveness.
Oh, we can go to it.
But I think it definitely is a part of that.
Yeah.
Because there's a process.
Sure.
As I'm hearing us deal with this,
sure.
I'm understanding even in my own
for sure, Doc.
feelings that there are degrees that we can get beyond the thing enough to function again. But I guess it's kind of like a wound that's healing. And so as it's healing, it may be still a little sensitive. The wound still happened, but it's a little sensitive to touch. So I'm fine if you don't touch it.
It's still a scab.
It's still a scab. But the scab shows the trauma happened. The womb is still kind of got a freshness to it.
Yeah.
And so I think in some ways I'm realizing I've gotten past that it's tender until you touch it. And so now I'm having to deal with, okay,
it's been touched.
Why does this feel like this now when it's been a decade?
Yeah.
You know? And so how do you move on? So now I'm having to process that. Well, for me, I have learned this: when people show you who they are, to believe them.
Believe them, yeah.
And so I can deal with you at whatever level you present yourself to me.
I can give it to you.
Yeah.
Hey, don't let this sharp style tutor suit.
Come on, man.
You.
Come on, man.
Don't do
I put the suit on. I can take it back off too.
Hey, what you say? Hold on, let me set these clippers down.
Yeah, hold on a second. Say that again.
What?
So I think that's a lot of how you move on. I'm going to move accordingly by what you can handle. Yes. Now, if you can handle having a grown man conversation, then let's sit down and talk about how this wounded me, and then I can maybe tie it to some of the other events that led up to this. See, you showed me you really weren't my protector as a big brother when we were 10, and you did and then this, and then so now this is really just the final straw of where, like what you said, I've just come to realize this is just who you are. So sometimes moving on don't mean we're moving together.
Yeah.
We can both move on. Hey,
separately.
As far as you can go west, as far as I can go east, but
yeah, I like that. I like that. That's good. That's so good. Yeah, either way we're gonna agree.
Back to that.
We're gonna agree back to that.
Yeah.
But we're gonna agree on something.
We're going to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. But I also think too, just hearing you even if we agree to go separately, that allows you to move on without that burden on your back.
Facts.
So you're not like, man, and deep in my heart, how I'm feeling about this and my actions, are they pleasing in your sight? Because it's not about me.
Right.
You know? So I think that, man, we can look at that and say, man, how am I moving here?
Right.
Oh, it's all right. It's pretty good. I mean, you good.
Right.
you're all right then. If it's like, man, Chip, you tripping on that dog. Like, I don't know. Well, tell you what I need to do.
Right. Well, when you say, is it pleasing in your sight? So, who is the subject that you seek to please?
Oh yeah,
If it's
about
the
God.
person
Yeah.
that offended, well,
yeah, I'm not. That's not a no.
but sometimes your absence, and see, this is what I've learned through this since we're talking about the person, then we're gonna go to God. If I can be missing from your life for this many years, and you know what happened, and you haven't reached out, then perhaps if my absence doesn't move you to seek reconciliation, perhaps my presence meant less to you than it did to me. And so I have to trust you
and believe you
at the lack of my presence, because you've been showing me this.
You showed me.
So then that's why I have to, like you said, I got to do something different. So my decision is, okay, I got to let me be to you who you made me be.
Yeah, man.
Now, is that pleasing to God? Then God looks at the heart. See, the man look at the outward appearance like, well, but you walked away. But God say, look, son, I might need you to walk away.
Yeah.
Because you're going to end up in some places that I need you free from custody. I need you to go over here and do this. If you keep hanging around, this is going to be that. So sometimes
could be bad.
Hey, Moses, you got to get out of Egypt, man. Egypt is not good for nobody involved, for your destiny, right?
Could be bad.
Yeah. So if you just look at the action, like you say, is it pleasing in God's sight? Well, if you just judge the action itself, am I with them? Am I trying to reconcile, or are we going separate ways? It has to be the unctioning of the Holy Ghost to tell you, hey, you haven't dealt with that. You got to go back and fix that.
And even if you're not to the place to deal with it, I think if you're not making it worse, it's making it better.
Okay. So time heals old wounds.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I think you could say that.
Okay.
Because it is a process. You mentioned the process. I think it's steps to it. Yeah, this is good. Certainly wasn't knowing where I was going to be going here.
Hey, you came in here with this loaded deck.
Yeah, I brought it on myself. It's all your fault.
Hey, man, you brought this. I would try to cut some hair, America. Like Running Back say.
That's awesome, man.
Hey, man.
Just trying to do a haircut.
Yeah, man. That's it.
But I appreciate your willingness to be transparent too, and go deep on that. Because it could have been surface level.
Right. Sure.
But the ability to go substance, will help so many people.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're finishing up a little tape. We're on.
We're early. Do you want us to eat it all? Linktree or something weird? I don't know.
Oh.
No, I don't. Taylor, thank you so much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Spencer, take that hat off, man. That hair gotta breathe.
Wait, he was so sad about wearing it today because he was like, "You're gonna be sad about the Cowboys."
I'm not upset.
See, I told you.
But look, you got to take the hat off because it's going to make that hat band in your head, and it's going to make it harder to cut all those curls, man. Yeah, just leave the hat here. Let the hair breathe. There you go.
He really didn't want to wear it. He was nervous you were going to be sad.
No, I'm okay.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
Good stuff right there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but I mean, to not be surface, I mean, there is a precedent that we have set at this point. So, as a youngster say, don't act brand new. I knew what it was when you said a session. I'm like, oh Lord. But
here we go.
It's necessary.
Yeah,
it's necessary.
Yeah. I think we got better today.
Yeah, it's an emotional purge that I appreciate.
Yeah. So good. I think too, and those that are checking it out, man. I just hope that just looking at our personal missions,
Right.
and what we do personally in our lives to strive to help others, the service piece,
Right.
and all of that stuff. I just hope that that shines through, and those that are checking it out are able to learn some lessons, through our experiences.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir.
just hope that it can be a blessing to somebody.
I was just watching that Air movie, the Michael Jordan
Man, I
story.
want to see that.
And I ain't gonna spoil it for you, but there's one place where they got some Nike quotes, like 10 Nike quotes that they have at the Nike headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the 10th one says, "Winning doesn't have to be pretty." And when you just said this, you're hoping people glean from it, from the transparency, and it's to really be able to get people to understand that it may not be pretty, but to get to the winner's circle, you may have to endure some ugly losses in order to get to that place of a victory. So I appreciate you pushing me in this area where I didn't necessarily know I was going, but I'm glad we were able to go here.
Yeah. I thank you for going there, because it pushed me too, without even knowing we was going.
Right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's so good. Let's go to a little lighter note here.
Okay.
So I just observed a mom bring a kid in,
Mm-hmm.
and you could tell when the kid walked in that this is a happy place.
Yes, sir.
And this is a happy place because of the investment of time, the pouring into,
Right.
the guidance, the combos.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna show you a couple things. This is his baseball card.
That's awesome, man.
This is his little sister, Miles, who comes in with him normally, and she draws me a picture mostly every time she comes about me and her brother and him, and it says, "Mr. Avery, I love you." And this is Spencer's sister. I've never cut her hair. She's got beautiful, long, pretty hair, but just that love, man, is universal. And so, man, they are very, very special people to me. You're getting me choked up. I wouldn't really talk about none of this, man. But some of my Cowboys stuff, I think it was that Cowboys thing right there they got me for Christmas. They've been clients of mine for about 6 years or so. And all of those are drawings that Miles has given me, his little sister, that's Spencer, that she's given me over the years, man. So it's yeah, it's a lot of time and a lot of love, and sometimes it's not even necessarily the words that are spoken. It's just the acceptance and the love.
Yeah.
And kids are very, very intuitive, and so they know if I'm just his barber or I'm his unofficial uncle.
They can read.
Yeah. So man, that's the joy of what I do for a living, man. It allows you to really connect with people in a way that even throughout the pandemic, when we weren't allowed to touch, the power of the barber was, I got to shave your face. And we were standing, everybody was 6 feet apart. I was in a position where I still got a chance to put my hand on a man's body and stand right here and talk to his heart and him share into mine. And so that's just another one of the added benefits, man. You get them while they're young on a booster seat. And then at one point I got a graduation announcement from one of my clients that was on a booster seat when I started, and he's graduating high school. Now he's off in the Navy, and it's just, and I haven't been cutting for 20, 30 years, like some people may think, man. It's been about 10 years, but just in that time, you see boys become men.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome. But you know what that is, Coach.
I do, man. I do. And it's a blessing to be in a position to be a blessing like that.
Yeah.
I think it allows us to reflect on our actions. It allows us to reflect on how we carry ourselves. It allows us to work on being the best version of ourselves too. Because we understand it's bigger than us. And like I said earlier about the forgiveness, it ain't about me.
Yeah, that's just where my mind went.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Full circle moments, man. Full circle moments. I'll share this one with you. I was just seeing it took me back to a situation. So I'm in a men's group in my church. And one of the leaders in the group. And I'm standing outside the class, when they come in and check in. I heard this guy, I didn't know we were starting up the new session, so we have new men come in. And this one guy was checking in. I heard him say his name. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's not a common name. So he's got to be these kids that I coached a few years back. He's got to be their dad. Then I looked at him, and they looked similar. And then I walked up to him and I asked him, are you so and so dad? He's like, yes, I am. And I introduced myself and told him who I was, and like it's nice, nice to meet you. I'm pretty sure I've heard your name before.
Right.
And so he goes home and tells his boys. And the next week, the next session, the boys are there with him.
Wow.
And so hugged them. It's good to see him, and just those kind of things. And the father, like the mom, she has recently passed.
Wow.
And so this was a good time for them to be together and having some good moments together.
Right.
Which helped them.
Yeah, for sure.
And then fast forward, and this just happened last week. Fast forward a couple more weeks, we're in this session, and the lesson that we're going over is being good fathers. And we got into talking about it's important to have your sons or daughters around good people.
Yes, sir.
And so this dad tells this story, the story of what I'm telling you right now. And I didn't know he was gonna say this.
Yeah.
To the group.
Right.
And I came in, and there was this coach that I saw that made a difference in my boys' life. And they were so excited when I told them about him, and they came to see him.
Wow.
And so just seeing that interaction that you just had with that young man made me think about all of that too.
Yeah, man.
And why we do it. It's so good and so rewarding.
Yeah.
Exhausting.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Exhausting.
Yes,
but so rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah, I've exerted a lot of energy doing far less gratifying things. So surely I can give to something that comes back so graciously.
Surely.
Wonder what the heck was I thinking?
Yeah, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Chip?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah, man, it's beautiful. Yeah, what trips me out, I guess, I maybe should be more used to it now, is I end up being the surrogate father or uncle or big brother to a lot of young men that don't have a dad in their lives or in their house. And you can kind of tell that there's a certain thing about them, and maybe it's their confidence, where they hold their head, or where they shake your hand and don't look at you. It's certain little cues that you see and pick up on.
You see it.
And then there's the ones like Spencer, who has a father that is in his house, is very active in his life, that loves his son, they love God. And so sometimes I find myself in awe that I have an impact.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
we don't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of take for granted that you bring something. I mean, you're a very active, loving dad in your son's life. And Evan is like, I see him almost as often as I see you. And it's just like, for real?
Yeah.
that I matter like that.
Yeah.
But you know, Chip Baker is his dad. You know, and then you start thinking about the village. That no matter who or what you bring, it still does take a village, man.
And it's funny that you say that because that's what I said when that dad said that in that session.
Yeah.
I said to them specifically, you know, when you think about it, you can't get your kids around enough positive.
Yeah.
And you can't get enough of that.
Right.
And I was telling them how, you know, my son has 2 parents in the house. His father has been in his life.
Right.
You know, faith-based, family outside is faith-based, and educators and service.
Right.
You know, but fast forward, 2 of the coaches on the staff where he plays at, where he goes to school, I coach them. You know, and so like you can't put your kid around enough positive people. Like and there's more I want him to be around.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you can't get enough of that.
And maybe where does that come from? Maybe it's that shortage propaganda that's put out that it's not a lot of good men, particularly that look like us. So we kind of have adapted that in some way that we think there is a shortage when actually it's just underreported.
Come on.
And so when you say this, it's like you can't have them around. I'm like, whoa, but where do you get all these good men? But really, they're everywhere. Yeah, but sometimes we don't see it because we're underreported. We're looking at through the lens of the outlet source, and they have a narrative that they're telling a vision, and so we buy into that vision. So we stop looking for those leaders in our village.
But there's some great ones out there.
Facts.
That have been doing it for a minute.
For real. For real. For real. Taylor, we just over here bragging on Spencer and Miles. And he just could tell y'all were very near and dear to me, so I showed him some of Miles' little pictures and Spencer's his pro baseball card. Yeah. So, yeah.
I was gonna let you know when they get baptized, but I know you got your stuff on Sunday, so
I'll be there.
I'll send you a picture.
I'll be there. Let me know when.
I'm guest speaker just because of me.
Let me know. Let me worry about that.
Okay.
Let me worry about that.
She said he's like family, and she wanted him to be at the baptism.
I mean, we definitely feel like
and he said he's a preacher. And he said, "Let me know, I'll be there." That's what it's about.
Can't make this stuff up, America.
Look, it's a good thing we don't know where you live.
Go get it.